Hey y'all, this is aemok,
Madam Hexe,
And Kaitlyn, kayce.
and this is Trouble Comes in 3. This podcast discusses scandalous topics like communication and sexual health, along with kink, leather, and ethical non-monogamy. If you're under 18, please leave us and check out scarletteen.com. For those over 18, welcome and let's get naughty. So, there's some weeks we have topics that we're researching,
right?
And we can absolutely kind of double dip, do our regular day job kind of stuff, and also do a little bit of research on the side, and it's not too bad. To this week, episode, not so much. No. I was like, there's no way I can do these searches on my computer, even in incognito mode. I don't even risk it.
I usually have 2 laptops off.
Yep. That was pretty much exactly what I did.
Can you tell us why?
So the reason for that was that this week, it's all about the butt.
Woohoo!
So all of my searches were about anal sex.
And I don't think you were looking for doctors, so
I was.
This is the trouble we go through for you guys every week.
It's such a pain in our ass.
Oh, you did it.
Okay, Dad.
No, that's Daddy.
That is Daddy, but you're here with the dad
This
jokes.
daddy does not make dad jokes, thank you very much.
Daddy does not make dad jokes. But aemok does!
Right, I feel like
I'll make my mother proud.
I feel like we have a couple more, butt jokes coming up. I'm sure.
I mean, I'm talking about butts. I'm gonna giggle.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's, yeah.
So all things anal. Kind of like anal 101 is kind of what we're framing for. We will probably later do perhaps with another subject matter expert, anal 201, the deep dive.
Oh.
The full fisting.
Right, yeah, the fisting. We'll do a fisting episodes specifically.
Yeah.
So this is good because it's coming kind of on the heels. A few weeks ago we did the pegging and strapping. So we alluded a little bit to butt stuff with pegging, but now we're kind of going to zero in on
Everything but.
everything but. Oh, God.
It's gonna happen 17 more times.
I'm
Just
ready.
get prepared.
Well, let's get started then.
Fantastic. So we're gonna talk a little bit about health concerns.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna talk about getting ready and getting in there.
This is definitely one of those, regardless of the plumbing you have, this is definitely one of those risk-aware activities. So we're just going to let you be aware, and then you can decide your risk tolerance for it.
And anyone who has a butthole can have anal sex. This isn't just something that, specifically gay men do or only
Straight women being pressured into it.
Yeah. There are lots of straight women who aren't pressured into it that absolutely love it. There are lots of gay guys who actually aren't.
Yeah, who actually aren't into
They're
taking
just
it up,
not really excited about taking or giving it up the ass.
Yeah. It's very personal.
I think we should start with some terminology.
Yeah, okay. Good call. What you got? Hold that.
So, some terminology around anal, your butt, and anal, the sexy time.
Yes.
So your anus, your anal canal, is formed by a couple of different parts that are really important to think about when you're engaging in anal play of any sort. It's not like a vagina in that it is a hole, but it is a very differently functioning hole.
It's designed to do very different things.
Yes. So when most people think of anal, they're thinking of actually the anus, which is like the little butthole. Your little starfish.
Please don't call it that.
How is that the thing that gets you giggling? But my dad jokes aren't level.
I have a rosebud myself.
Rosebud, starfish, is your booty hole.
Yes.
Beyond that, you have the sphincter, which is the grabby grab part of the booty hole. It's the part
designed to pushy push.
It grabs, but it's the part that actually contracts.
Yes.
And moves things through. So grabby, pushy.
Right.
Beyond that, you have the rectum. And at the end of the rectum, there is a L curve that goes into the colon.
Right.
There are a couple of other little bits and pieces, but those are the major parts of your anus.
Right. We're not here to prep you for the MCAT. We're just here to get the basics covered.
Right. So that's most of the space that is involved when anything is inserted into an ass.
Gotcha.
That's the area that you're roaming around in. Lingo on the play side of things, you might hear people say like top and bottom. Now in the het pan kink community, that's predominantly the person, like, let's say flogging.
Right.
A top in a flogging scene is the one doing the flogging. A bottom in a flogging scene is the person receiving the flogging. In the gay world, if you say, oh, I'm a top, that means you're pitching.
Yes.
You are the penis going into the hole.
Yep.
Or toy going, like, you are the one penetrating.
You're the penetrator.
The bottom is the penetratee.
I guess
they are
so.
being penetrated. So that's it's a little bit of variation. As someone who jumps between the worlds,
In a way, it's still like you're still doing the action, so it's not like a far jump if you've only been in a headspace. But
crazy enough though, it's very strange teaching in a gay space because they are very more. They use dom and sub, like in the gay culture, it's dom and sub. In het culture, it's top and bottom.
right, but for play, we're just talking about
weird.
specifically for butt stuff.
For butt stuff.
For sexy fun times.
For sexy foot time. Sexy foot times? I mean,
That's a
that's a different episode too.
Stay tuned.
I have seen that involved in butts, but that preparation for that will come later.
That's the 201. That might be 301. I'm not
So I swear we are going to get to the more fun stuff of the anal.
Safety is fun. Safety is sexy.
Yep.
risk aware. I can't, I have to be aware in order to be engaged,
So just some brief things to be aware of on the like health side of things.
Right. Before
we get into the for some more interesting, I know tons of people who geek out on the health stuff too.
Right.
I'm one of those people. So starting with some guides from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, it's listed as gay and bi men / men who enjoy sex with men.
Fair enough.
So if you are a dude and you like having other dudes put it in your butt or putting your thing in their butt, this is kind of their recommendation. But it really is for anyone who
Has an asshole.
And honestly likes sex.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So some anal specific things. They recommend for vaccines that you get Hep A and B.
Important.
Which is really important. Hep A is predominantly transferred through fecal matter and things like that. So
very important if
it's
you're putting anything up a butthole.
super important. And it's really simple. The Hep A is 2 vaccines given at least 6 months apart within an 18-month window. The Hep B vaccine is a series of 3 shots. And in some areas, you can actually get a Hep A-B combo
pack. Okay.
which is a series of 3 to give you protection.
Gotcha.
Again, that's protection against. It doesn't necessarily guarantee it.
Right.
They also recommend the flu shot. I think they just recommend the flu shot to everyone.
Probably.
I just
Sure.
Every
They
recommendation
sneak
is sneaking the flu shot.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I mean,
Whatever you say,
Influenza?
CDC.
Can I get an influenza from the asshole? Maybe.
Maybe.
if you are under 26, they recommend getting the HPV vaccine. Male, female, anywhere in between, everywhere beyond.
Yep.
Go get your HPV if you can, because even as a guy, there are some types of HPV that can have really detrimental effects on your body, but also on the body of anyone you're involved in.
Exactly.
So, do your thing. They also recommend doing PrEP, which I know all
Tell us
of
a little
us.
bit about that.
So, PrEP is pre-exposure prophylactic, and what it is it's a medication that helps reduce the risk of HIV transmission. So, I, as a person who loves sex, I am on PrEP. This is for real life, yo. I'm on PrEP.
I do
Now-
on PrEP.
You're
Three.
I'm just slowly
Or
spreading.
two. That's fine.
I'm slowly spreading the prep
Yeah.
love out.
Well, I was really glad when it finally came to the States because it was like only available like in the UK and Europe for a long time, and the US is a little slow with their FDA to like
Actually, do
let
things.
things happen. So when it finally got here, I was like, oh, well, that's good. I should do that considering I put a lot of things up gay boy butts.
Yeah.
And it's not just a gay boy butt thing.
No, it's not.
and, like,
it's
But for the people I play with,
Yeah.
that's a higher risk demographic for me.
And for me, I don't do a lot of butt stuff, especially not with men, but like I do like blood play and play that can draw blood, and so for me, like that's not so much the sexy fun time side, but it's the I want you to stab me and hurt me and cut me, so I should probably be on something for that.
Yep. It's really for anyone who, it's recommended, basically anyone who is in a high risk category, which could involve your sexual demographic. It could involve lifestyle choices. It can involve other things that are not so great, like drug use,
Right. Right.
because there's a increased risk.
Right.
The reason that this is really important specifically for anal is that anal is the riskiest sexual behavior you can have when it comes to the, I'm going to say more traditional.
Right.
When it comes to
air quotes.
air quotes. When it comes to sex, oral, vaginal, anal is the most risky of them all.
Right.
And with that, it means that there is a higher risk of transmission of STIs.
Right. Very absorbent, the lining.
It's
as well.
absorbent. It also tears very easily.
And also fecal matter.
And poop.
Yeah, it's poop.
Yeah, that's, you get into like bacterial infections and things like that. When it comes to HIV and AIDS, which is what PrEP is helping you. So PrEP is something you take every day to prevent, so that if you come in contact with a bodily fluid, whether it be through work, through kink play, through sex, through whatever, you are less likely to transmit the disease to yourself. You're less likely to become infected. There's also post-exposure prophylactics, and there are antiviral retro drugs that are for people who are already infected. But anal sex in particular, for the bottom, the person receiving the penetration, 13 times more likely to be infected than a top when playing. The biggest reason for that is that
Taking the load. Risking the tear, taking the load.
Yeah. It's very, very common to get micro tears or micro fissures in the lining of both the anal opening and the
rectum
space
itself,
beyond, the
yeah.
rectum itself. Those little cuts and tears mean that you have exposed spaces where infections could get in. But both parties do carry risks. So
Absolutely.
don't think that just, I am always a top, I have no risk at all.
I'm immune. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Some other health concerns that are, again, this is for everybody.
Every butthole.
Every booty hole.
Every booty hole.
And some of these can transfer into vaginal sex if you are a vagina owner and are doing play like ass to pussy, ass to mouth. So a mouth or vagina owner.
Right.
STIs and bacterial infections.
They're a thing.
Not only can you're at a higher risk because you do have those tears that happen. There's also a lot of bacteria in your butt.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that are back there. Some of it is normal and healthy, some of it not so much, but
Right. It's a waste production center, okay? That's what it's originally designed to do. It's just one of those facts of life.
Exactly. And so you can actually contract salmonella or E. coli.
Yep.
On top of your quote regular STIs.
I can also get a coli out of it.
Like, chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV, E. coli.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So those are things to take into consideration. You can also develop hemorrhoids.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you have hemorrhoids, the friction that anal sex creates can irritate those hemorrhoids.
Right.
And actually could make them pop. I have a
Very painful.
funny / disgusting story about that.
Let's put a pin in that.
Yeah. Tears, like I said, you can get micro tears within the linings. This can cause some bleeding. A little bit of blood, generally not that big of a deal. If you are continuously bleeding or something like that, go to the doctor.
Yes.
You're not the first person who had to go to the ER for blood. Or to your doctor.
If you're gonna hoe responsibly.
Yes.
Right.
Be honest with your healthcare professionals about the way you live your life, please. It's gonna make treating you easier.
Yes. Now, it happens rarely, but the last thing on the like strictly health side of our discussion this evening is perforations.
Yes.
So, while they happen rarely, they are severely dangerous. This is when you don't just get like a little... The difference between like a scratched nick on your knee and like gashing your knee open and cutting an artery. Like,
Right.
There's a dramatic difference. So with a perforation, it actually, you create like a large hole.
Right.
These can be into the abdomen itself, or if you have a vagina, it could be perforated. The tissue that is between your ass
Your
and
rectum and your vagina
is very, very thin and relatively delicate.
Right.
You do not want to rip a hole in that.
No, wrong angle, bad force, that thing will tear and you will know it.
Yep. And also with that L shape at the top of the rectum, like, you don't want to pop through that. It is not comfortable.
Please stay out of your colon.
Yeah.
Please stay out of your colon.
And if you do get a perforation, you have to go to the hospital.
Yes.
You need to go quickly.
Yes.
Because it will bleed very badly. It can lead to serious
You
infections.
can get blood inside the body cavity. You got fecal matter inside the body cavity. None of those are good things. Please go.
Yeah.
Don't be embarrassed.
And those things, unfortunately, really most of the time require, if you have an actual perforation, it requires surgery to repair.
Oh,
so
yeah. Imagine,
you don't want to just try to like suck it up and be like, oh, no, you're fine. The bleeding will stop. No.
You'll be turning yellow and getting jaundice and all that. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You do not want to do that. So that is your specifically health related anal 101.
So why, with all these risks, why do it?
Because it feels good.
Because it feels so good.
It's fun. Oh, the things we do for fun. You're like, wow, thinking about it out loud is like, why do I do this? Like, it fucking feels amazing.
So good.
Well, and a lot of these risks, I mean, a lot of them are very similar to the same risks we do with other types of play.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can damage organs vaginally or orally.
I've had a friend, she had her uterus actually shifted. His dick was so big, he actually moved her uterus.
I had an IUD actually displaced because of a dick.
That's true. So, all the holes, all the problems.
Right. So it's funny but the reason that it's weird is that we're actually sitting down and talking about all of the risks.
out loud, like in order kind of things.
But then we're, talking about prevention stuff, the vaccines, treatments like that.
Right.
And also informed consent.
Yeah.
Like, we know these are the risks.
Right.
We still choose to do it.
And now we're giving you the tools to choose if you want to do it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So let's talk about, let's say you are an anal virgin. You want to put something up your butt for the first time. Or you want to put someone up your butt for the first time. What?
Start with the finger.
Start with the finger.
Start
Do you have
small.
something to say? Okay. No. What are some of our tips for absolute beginners?
Lots of lube.
So much lube.
What kind of lube?
I honestly prefer the gel lube. It also is going to depend on what you're putting
By
up
gel,
your...
do you mean silicone?
It depends. So I have used silicone, I've used water-based. And so it depends on what you're putting up your butt, on what kind of lube you use. Because if you're using silicone toys or condoms, you don't really want to use a silicone-based lube because it can actually corrode and possibly break the condom, corrode your toys. And so for that, it's better to use like a water-based. If it's going to be like a finger or a unsheathed, undressed condomless stick, or just condomless stick, you can use like a silicone-based one. People like it because it quote-unquote lasts longer. The water-based lubes kind of tend to dry out and evaporate.
That's what they're designed to do.
And so I really like the water-based Astroglide that comes in gel form because I do not like the runny wetness of lube, and the Astroglide gel tends to, like, if you put it on a finger or a toy or a plug or a dick, it stays there until you put it where you're putting it instead of running everywhere.
I will say that most condoms nowadays, lubricated condoms, are silicone lube safe. It's
Okay.
the oil-based lubes that will actually eat condoms. So if you're one of those eco-friendly, natural people and you like to use things like olive oil, coconut oil, don't if you're using a condom, because that shit will eat through a latex condom. But I prefer silicone for butt stuff, personally, because I like more of the slide. Personally, water-based for me is not really like that helpful for the booty. I like water-based for vaginal stuff though, because I feel like it doesn't goop me up so much.
That's fair.
So when I was really embarrassing, hilarious story. When I was first getting into anal, I used to joke that I had a self-lubricating asshole because for years I didn't use lube. And then I realized, like, now as an adult, A, I use lube all the time, and B, I realized the reason I didn't need lube is because I'm a squirter. And there's
pussy was
so much.
juicy.
Like,
honestly, same girl.
like
so juicy that, like, the butthole's lubricated. It's
right,
not.
because, like, generally we would have vaginal sex and then anal sex.
Right.
And everything gets so wet, including the dick, that,
Didn't
like,
matter.
it doesn't boop.
Yep.
But your asshole is not self-lubricating,
not.
regardless
No.
of how wet you think it is.
No, yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
Use lube before you put it in the booty. Use it while it's in there. Do not be afraid to, like,
Sauce that up.
like, especially
The motion that you're doing
Like hot sauce.
look, if you gotta get, I mean, you
Okay,
guys jealous,
can I just say,
Huh.
if you are the top and you're going to lube before or during sex, make sure, like, put it on your member or the toy that you're using. Don't just pour it over my ass cheeks.
She does
because
not-
I have a voluptuous ass.
She does not want to be
I don't-
smeared like a bagel.
I don't want to be smeared, but none of it is getting where it needs to go. It's not touching my anus where you're actually
They're
penetrating.
just trying to shine up your ass.
I'm
cheeks.
just like, the amount of times they're like, oh no, we'll use lube, and then none of it actually gets onto my butthole. I'm like, you used half a bottle of lube, where did it go?
used it wrong.
So, yes.
Sorry.
There are people who are squishy averted,
Yes.
which our sweet Kaitlyn is very much so. So the, like, hand gesture that I'm doing
I can just hear the lube bottle going.
She's so, imagine shaking a ketchup bottle. That's kind of
just, like, putting some hot sauce on that shit.
That's
Do not put hot sauce on that shit. That's a terrible idea.
Don't do that.
No. But with the water-based lubes, they are water-based, so they evaporate very quickly. For me, they get very sticky.
Yeah, that after feeling, I don't like it.
Now, there's two ways to handle it. If you do choose to use a water-based lube, really, it's add more water.
So you could spit on it. Is that what you're saying?
So, yes, that's where I was going. You could spit on it unless you are squishy aversion like her. She does not like the squish.
Spit in that asshole.
I really love it.
No, I'm
like-
I
like the
straight face. That was not a
concept
question. That was not a question.
It's a hot idea. Play it out. I don't think I could do it.
Right.
And then the other option is to just apply more lube.
Right.
Like, when you're doing this, keep that lube bottle within reach.
You just put on a little holster. Just
It's like, because that means putting on a slut sock so you have a pocket to put it in while you're going. Do that. Get a little, like, hand pump beside your bed.
I have a hand pump. I have a hand pump. I need to do the automatic dispenser. I need to up my game. Like, that was actually
The
a boy's
warming
idea. I wanna
dispenser.
take that.
The guys definitely told me about a party that they went to that they had that.
That's brilliant.
That, like,
So smart.
I love that.
with the silicone lube, it does last longer in that it doesn't evaporate. Your body doesn't absorb it the same way that the water-based stuff does. So a lot of people do enjoy it if they're going to be doing
A lengthy
longer
session.
Also, I just don't know that I've ever used silicone lube for anal. I don't think it's ever. I was told to get a water-based gel. I got a water-based gel.
I always have silicone lube, mainly because I like to wear latex, and that's what I douse
yeah,
myself in.
that's
It
fair.
just doubles nicely as butt stuff.
It does.
Or the boy will use it to coat his cock cage. If he gets a little bit of chafe, he'll put a little silicone
That's
lube
smart.
against the, I guess, his mons pubis here.
Mm-hmm.
And it will kind of like relieve the
See, it's multi-use.
friction. It is. It's a multi-use product. But since we talked about all the things that a butthole is supposed to be used for,
to resolve Kaitlyn's issue of just pouring lube all over around the butt cheeks and not, she is about to vomit.
is the solution just put it on the butthole?
Yes. And if you want to really actually warm it up, use your finger, put it on there, and then slowly work your finger around the butthole and push a little bit of lube on the inside too. You can even slip a little finger in there as a peeky peek. Pinkies work if you're concerned about size.
Right.
But that way you're actually depositing it
Inside where it needs to be.
Now, if you are super averse to all of those things, there are actually lube shooters. They look like syringes.
I'm not laughing because I'm just fill that butt with lube.
You can literally, this might actually work for you.
No, that might actually be an option.
So it's a lube shooter.
I feel like the sadists in my life won't let that happen, though.
I mean, I might make you do it to yourself, but hold it further away. Whatever. So it's basically like a syringe. It's not tipped with a needle, obviously.
Right.
But you just slide that in.
Turkey baster.
Basically, yep, except for it's filled with lube.
Interesting.
And then you can just go...
So what I'm hearing is you could use a turkey baster.
Preferably an unused one? Or
yeah, not one like the one from Thanksgiving.
You can put it in the dishwasher.
True. I don't own a dishwasher, so...
Well, you couldn't then, could you?
I could put it in your dishwasher.
Yeah, it's fine. I can put all kinds of things in that dishwasher.
True. So, now that that's done. Next!
Clearing out your butthole.
Yeah.
Because you have to make room to put shit in there.
So, a lot of people's... Besides it hurts, which if it hurts, you might not be doing it well. So
or you might not have warmed up enough or worked your way up.
But the other, number one thing that people are like, oh, I'd never do anal is because they say it's dirty.
Poop.
Poop happens. Yeah. Shit happens.
Scheiße passiert.
What was that?
Scheiße passiert. She's like,
I just like hearing it.
Right.
So, prepping for that, totally easy. It's really significantly easier than people think it is.
Yeah.
And it takes care of most of the concern. Yeah. The rectum is literally, it's not where your body is doing the work of making poop.
No.
That happens after that L curve, after where the second sphincter is. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, in the colon, that's where the poop factory is being made. The rectum is actually just a
depository.
It is a poop tunnel.
Yep.
Getting it out of the body. So
this is the exit ramp, kids.
When you're cleaning up, you're just cleaning that little portion. You don't necessarily want to get
all the way
past that second sphincter.
It's going to take much longer.
So, what are some tips and tricks you use or your people use?
So, confession, I have never cleaned out for anal. Mainly because
lucky?
Mainly the anal sex that I've had, I haven't really, I'm not going to say I didn't have a choice. I had a choice, but it was sprung on me in the moment. No, forewarning, hey, let's do anal tonight.
That's not how we do things, kids.
It's very much oh, I'm in your pussy, you've come 5 times, do you want to have anal?
I don't, because I probably have poop in my butt.
So, if you think you have poop in your butt, or you're in a situation, I will totally admit, all of my early anal escapades were not cleaned out. I will absolutely admit it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I basically just have gotten lucky.
I did not have gunkles, gay uncles,
right.
to tell me the wonders of the world when I was 18.
Right.
So
we have that little cheater skill set though, since we are vagina owners. Because if you stick your finger up your vagina and you push against that back wall, you can tell if there's poop in there.
Yeah.
So you can cheat a little bit and be probably gonna be fine.
Also, just go poop.
Just go poop.
Yeah,
please.
If you were
eat
concerned
well and
about,
be regular.
If you were concerned about the possibility of poop,
go poop.
Go poop.
Yeah.
Get it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's a healthy poop,
you're fine.
It should clear out.
Right.
In my butthole ways. Mm-hmm. And now I clean out.
Right. I'm ready anytime.
Right. And it's something that you can do hours before you are possibly going to have anal.
Right.
So if you have a hot date and you think you want to do anal,
just go ahead and do it.
You can do it ahead of time. Do not eat Mexican food.
Or Chinese.
Or corn. Which is actually what they ate tonight was Chinese food. Be mindful of what you eat the day before and the day of.
Yeah,
because
because that shit literally moves slowly through you.
Well, and corn, beans, it all comes out the same way.
Yep, stays whole.
Also, chew your fucking food, you animal. It's gonna make it easier.
True. There are a couple of different types that you can use.
My boy uses the bulb.
Yeah,
What's the name of the bulb?
The fleet.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bulb.
That might just be like a bowl.
Yeah, you fill it with water and
Yeah,
the little bulb.
So you can use like the little bulb. It looks kind of like that thing that they use on small kids for the snot sucking.
Yeah, what is that thing called?
It's called a bulb.
Is it? Really?
Yeah.
It's just a bulb.
Oh, that's not very creative, is it?
No. The little squishy bulb.
Okay.
So you can do that. That might take longer.
Oh yeah, he treats himself. I know it's happening too, because like the bathroom door will close and the audiobook will come on. And
Just relax.
It's a ritual.
It is. He takes his time. You know. Of course, he knows in advance if I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put something up your butt later. I'll let him know.
You're like, there's time.
I've used the bulb. Also used the little hoses.
Yep. So another option that you can do is Fleet. It's a saline. You can literally pick it up at like CVS, Walgreens, drugstore, wherever. It's a saline solution. You pop it in, you let it sit for a little bit, and then you do your thing. Then there are also what are sometimes called like gravity bags, things like that, which is where it's a bag that you put water. Only water. No additives, no other things.
Not coffee.
Not coffee. It's just water. You want the water to be warm but not hot.
Like tepid kind of.
Yeah. So it's recommended like put your elbow in the water because
your skin is so thin, is it?
It's more sensitive to temperature than your hands are.
That's why your elbow hurts so bad when you plunk it around.
Right. Also, your hands are used to temperature all the time.
Yeah.
So and we beat our hands up every day.
That's true.
So test it with your elbow like you would do like a baby bottle. You do it on your forearm.
Right.
And then you put a little bit of lube on the tip of the nozzle that comes off. Like there's a little hose.
It looks like a gigantic IV bag is what it looks like.
It kind of does.
It kind of feels like you're hanging a big IV bag, except you're putting it up your butt.
Yep. You slide the nozzle into your booty and you slowly release the valve. If you just open it, it's gonna like gravity is gonna take that and shoot it into your.
It's gonna come out your mouth.
Yeah.
Want to talk about cramping?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, unless you want to spend like an hour and a half,
right,
2 hours.
We're just doing the little bit of the rectum. We're not doing our whole intestines, folks. So
right.
You can overshoot it.
And once you get past that second sphincter, you're going to cause a lot of cramping and like your body's going to move the stuff. It's going to be significantly harder. For some people, they will do it if they're doing fisting, but that is definitely an anal 301, 201 kind of case.
Right.
But tidy up.
Yeah.
You can tidy up
Be polite.
earlier in the day. Like, it's not a thing.
Be polite. It's a good way to do it. Now, when I do butt stuff with other people, I guess myself too, I normally have very long claws on my hands. That's a concern for a lot of people. So I wear nitrile gloves. I find that with proper amount of lubrication, the nitrile gloves work fine. I just kind of stack my fingers in a way that I'm not pinching you, or I use a toy to open you up first before I get my paw in there. But it has been a concern, especially when I play with gay men. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so scary," and I was like, "Shut up and turn around." No. But it is a concern because a lot of I think some of our tips as well is kind of as a top, keep your paws dainty as well of cleaning up them as well.
People joke, well I joke, everyone jokes, that I have teeny tiny fisting paws.
You do, you have small hands.
Or fingering paws because I have very tiny hands. I'm a tiny human.
I have big man hands. I do too.
You
but
guys
mine
are
generally go in other people's.
full-size adults. You just have adult hands. I am the height of a small child.
That's fair, I guess.
The fact I cleared 5 foot is miraculous for my family.
There you go, yeah.
So, yeah. Nails are a thing. Little hands are a thing. I honestly, I get anxiety. I pick my nails when I'm stressed out. I almost never have nice, pretty long nails. Even then, I still will wear gloves.
Well, because hangnails is an open wound, as we talked about earlier.
Also, I find that it just smooth, like, because it's nice and soft and smooth, that my finger will slide in 75 times faster with a finger condom or a glove on than without. I still have to use lube and lots of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the lube. But the gloves definitely help. If you do have long nails and you're concerned about maybe your fingers aren't as flexible as Madame Hexe's when it comes to crossing them to keep the nails
waggle
down.
my eyebrows suggestively.
Another option that I've heard is that before you put the glove on, pop a cotton ball into each of the fingertips and then just slide your hand in that way. That way the cotton ball grabs onto the end of your nail and it gives a little bit of cushion.
I'm just seeing like a Muppet hand with these cotton
What
balls.
I'm seeing is E.T. phone home. The bulbous finger.
Kind of. Well,
I guess if it's up your butt, you're not going to care.
you're not going to care. You might not see it.
Right.
And it's also useful if you have like the longer nails or
I bet if you
have
had
like
acrylics, because they could pop off, I
Yep.
would be more concerned if because my nails are just my nail.
Yeah.
So I would be more concerned if I had like acrylics or that kind of thing, then I would probably consider something like that.
it just rounds out the tip. It also keeps it from your nails puncturing the end if you have like the stiletto or
Which I
any kind of-
typically do.
but the little cotton ball helps keep it from poking through the end of your
The glove.
Yeah.
It's not the time to have fingerless glove look.
Yeah.
No.
It's the purpose, I think. So you reached out. We kind of reached out to get some additional like tips outside of us, I think, to get like kind of like
Yes.
the general consensus, and then we can get personal with our anal discussion.
So I reached out to some anal experts, I'll call them. They're a group of gay guys who really like butt sex. So here are some tips and tricks from our wonderful gay brothers. Clip your nails.
Well, we already covered that. I refuse. No, I'm just kidding.
Go slow.
So
Good.
Butt stuff is not something you rush into.
No.
Anal training is a thing.
And it can be so much fun.
So much fun.
Yes.
Part of its appeal is that it's a slow process.
Yeah.
It's kind of like rope in that sense, where you're like
take
building
the
up to
time.
something and you're like working on something kind of like together. And then when you get there, it's like, woo, I did it!
When you're playing with toys, it is neither shoved in the hole and go or ripping a motor.
Ripcord.
Oh,
Ripcord.
Okay. All I see sorry, tangent, but when I see anal beads, which are like the
think a
long
lawnmower?
strip, I think of those, what are they called? Like the Beyblades
Beyblade,
or whatever,
the
where you...
toys, I was thinking like a lawnmower.
Yeah, basically the same thing, and I'm just like, no.
Either way, don't pull a leather
Don't do it.
ripcord.
Don't do it.
No.
Your partner will hate you and probably never let you
Probably
bite a
turn
bit.
around and punch you in the face.
However, I kind of do like that sometimes. After I've been warmed up and fucked hard.
Right, it's open though. It's not gonna
Yeah.
like
You don't
pull
do
out
that
my
first.
sphincter inside
It's not like
out,
a
okay?
pug that's been sitting in me for 8 hours.
Right.
Right. So go slow. Remember to communicate. If it hurts, slow down. Talk to your partner.
Yes, please.
You might need to stop, or it might be a matter of changing angles. Some angles that are possibly a little bit easier are angles that the receiver is in a little bit of control getting it in for the first penetration.
Like sitting on that dick.
Sit on that dick.
Honestly,
So
my favorite. Sit on that dick, got the Hitachi on me. Oh, girl.
or
Just cross-eyed, like,
the face she made is priceless. Or backing into the dick, or backing into the toy.
I like to do that with Peggy, like put my arm behind my head and be like, you back onto daddy's dick for me.
The nice thing about that is that
I require bottoms to go beep, beep.
yes,
Little dumb truck.
Have fun with it.
yes.
But
Yeah, please don't take yourself too seriously, but it is funny.
But for the bottom to have control, they're the ones whose asshole is getting stretched.
Yeah.
They're having a little bit of control of how quickly that happens. They can tell you if you're going too quickly.
that, and I think that's also really important if you are not using your biological penis. Because
Dick don't know.
if you are not using a biological penis, you aren't having that feeling of how quick you're going, how hard you're pushing necessarily.
Or how much resistance you got.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
every cock dildo insertable is different.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to take one and not another, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, and that just may not be your day. No dice today, guys.
If you're getting a new toy, you think you can take it. You can't.
Go down a size.
Yet.
Yet.
Go down a size.
He put in yet.
Yet.
Get the smaller one. When you've got a big plate of food and it looks real good, and then you're like half in, you're like, oh God, I can't eat it all.
Me with my Chinese
Your
food.
ass is hungry too.
Right.
When you are looking for toys for your butt,
Feed it considering.
start small. You can always go back for seconds.
Treat it like tapas.
Appetizers.
mean-
Appetizers.
Get a
Yeah.
variety and share with your friends, because that's what I do.
Yeah, but also just multitude of smalls.
Yes.
Appetizer.
Okay, Daddy.
As a treat for you.
Dun, dun.
That wasn't a pun. That was just a bad word.
I mean, it's still a dad joke.
So those were their main things, were take it slow, use a fuck ton of lube. If you're going to be playing with hands, which I highly recommend, honestly, like, that's a great way to warm it up. Clean your fucking fingernails and keep them
Wash your
trimmed.
hands, you dirty
Dirty.
bastard.
Yeah, exactly.
And bastard is a non-gendered term, by the way.
And also foreplay.
Yes.
If you want to get in the back door,
Be nice to it.
be nice to it. Be nice to the person who owns that back door. They'll
Yeah.
open it up for you a little easier.
Yeah. So, Kaitlyn,
Oh, good. Hi. I know I've been so quiet this episode so
you
far.
have, and I think it's just because our experiences are different with butt stuff.
They are.
They are. So why don't you share a little bit about, obviously you shared that yours have been a little more like impromptu. Okay, I guess we're doing this kind of thing.
Yeah. So my experiences with anal have been more so of the painal flavor.
Okay.
And so like that's kind of been
In the context
appeal.
of a
consensual
Dynamic?
agreement
Okay.
and dynamic. Whether it's taking a toy without lube or I know I see your
everything
face.
that we've told you not to do.
Okay, so if you listen back a few episodes to the sex ed, it's not super great here.
Right.
I'm the problem child. But before I realized, and it was kind of the same thing where the pain of it made me so wet that I ended up kind of quote unquote
Okay. All
self-lubricating.
right. I'll buy that because you're a masochist. I'll buy that.
But yeah, and so it's always been more of a surprise context, or I don't know what's going to happen context. I actually did anal training and I was really, really enjoying it. And so, like, we were joking. 'cause-
Elaborate on what that is for people that might, because we have some
So,
people that have like no idea what the hell
Okay.
this is.
So you can actually train your anus and your rectum to be more accepting with muscle memory of opening up for toys and
It's a
sex.
little muscle, can be taught to do all kinds of things.
Teach it tricks. But
Sometimes it talks back to you.
right. And so
And it's like shush, boop.
and so like if you've ever been to a sex shop or maybe on Amazon looking at some sexy fun toys, you might see sets of anal plugs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's generally a smaller one, a medium one,
And
and
a
a terrifying one.
Oh,
And
Saturday.
so you can actually, they are anal training sets. And so the concept is you're going to start with the small one and you're going to use the small one consistently for a period of time. This is going to depend on you and how often you use it.
And your goals.
And your goals. And then once you're comfortable with the small one, you can try opening it up to the big one. If it hurts really bad, go back to the small one and use it some more.
Right.
If it's okay, then start using the medium one. And so you're training yourself basically to be able to take a larger item up your butt. So I actually have like 4 different sets because I wasn't really sure what I would like. So there are different materials that plugs are made out of.
Mm-hmm.
So I have what's called a princess plug. So if you see those really pretty ones with jewels on the end, those
Oh,
are often
cute.
referred to as princess plugs.
They're the metal ones, aren't they?
Yeah,
The
well,
metal.
they're metal, and then they also make a silicone one.
Okay.
And so I have a set of the metal, and then I have a set of the silicone ones, and then I have a different set which is more along the lines of actually like opening you up and keeping your anus stretched open.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're a silicone set where it doesn't look like an Easter egg on a stick.
Mm-hmm.
It looks more of like a cone with a really wide base.
I gotcha.
And so instead of your anus closing around the bottom of the bulb of the plug, it's going to stay open. You have a snoot.
Baby girl has the little one with like the little candy heart.
Yeah, mine are just the round, which are horrible, by the way, for long wear if you have voluptuous ass cheeks.
So, like all toys, but particularly for anal toys, you need to make sure whatever you're using is body safe.
Yes, no jelly toys. No jelly toys.
Why do they even make those?
Because they look
cheap
pretty and they're
they're
cheap.
But there are really nice sticks and toys and plugs and penetrative toys that aren't shaped like dicks in all kinds of body safe materials.
Yes.
Make sure that it's body safe. Make sure that you're cleaning it properly. And particularly for anal use, make sure that it is shaped in a way it can't escape.
Give it a base.
Oh,
because
you will be in the hospital. Please don't lose that up there.
Yeah.
Please don't put a golf ball up your butt.
or a pool ball.
Pool ball or
nothing
no.
that doesn't you can't pull out.
Yeah. You want to make sure that for plugs, things like that, where it's going to have a flange on the end. Anal beads will normally have a long cord.
Yeah.
Do not put the whole cord in your butt.
No, you
have
stop
to
at the last ball.
You have to be able to retrieve the item. If something gets in there,
it will go all the way up.
you can sometimes go to the bathroom, vacate yourself, and it will come out. But if it doesn't, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Go to the ER.
I can promise you're not the first person to have something weird up your butt.
No.
Yeah.
But make sure if whatever toy you're using is safe to go in your butt and is not going to escape, because I will tell you, even the tightest assholes will devour a toy if they feel like it.
Yeah.
Also, if you're using a silicone plug, the stems are also made of silicone. Check that shit and make sure it's not like wearing out or like it got caught in the drawer you keep it in, because if the base rips off, it's going bye-bye.
Mine are pretty sturdy, but I could, like, the smaller ones, I could.
Yeah,
I
the
could
thinner
see
ones,
they could get caught.
especially, so like my...
Especially if you, like, just throw them in a box all haphazard.
Well, like, so my silicone jewel one, the jewels actually come out for cleaning.
Right.
And so if you don't get the jewel all the way back in, it can come out, and then the flange basically collapses on itself.
Sounds like a terrible product design, but all right.
It is... I ended up
She's like, it was a gift. Leave me alone.
It was a gift. I did not pay for it. I
Crown
found
your
really
ass.
cute.
No, I think they're cute, but that sounds practicality-wise, that doesn't sound great.
But, and so, like, I was doing anal training. I really enjoyed it. I was really excited for anal. And then I really enjoyed penetrating myself with, like, a toy because I never did it, like, for myself, like, alone, but, like, when you're instructed to do it to yourself because you're in a long distance dynamic or they're working or they're away with family, things like that, it can be a really fun thing of like, oh, I know I'm not there, but you're still going to fuck your ass for me.
Right. And it's also like, it's also a little bit of, it's like a bit of a taboo as well. You know, butt stuff. What?
Sorry, I'm looking at butt toys and I found one I really need.
What did you find? I thought
Princess the puppy puss vibrator.
Oh, gosh.
It's a puppy octopus, y'all.
How much is it?
$70.
Worth it. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
I really... If you didn't know, I'm a puppy. Also, I'm obsessed with
Octopi.
Okay, sorry. Distracted.
I
can't look at toys while we
No.
talk.
I thought you were like, oh, we weren't recording. I was like, oh, okay.
No, we're just looking.
But, and so my experience with actually being fucked in the ass by another person is very limited with one individual. And it was always generally under the pretenses of, I'm fucking you right now. You're really into, like, getting pain and stuff, so I'm going to put it up your ass.
This is my opportunity.
Right.
Which, I mean, in that
And
context, seems okay. Except,
yeah. But it was generally always very hard, very fast. And I haven't had the experience with anal. We had a bad experience, and it wasn't. We miscommunicated, hardcore.
Gotcha.
On like what was going to happen, because he had told me earlier in the day he wanted to fuck my ass.
Right.
I was like, okay, cool. I didn't realize he was going to start with fucking my ass.
Oh,
so he got behind me. I was like, oh, cool, we're doing doggy, because that's my preferred style. I was like, oh, he's treating me because I'm giving him something he wants.
I'm a good girl.
I was like, because normally he preferred me to be on top. Right. I hate being on top.
Right.
So I was like, oh, yay, doggy style. Yeah, awesome. And then up my ass it goes. I was like, ah!
Oop.
I
mean, it's funny now, I guess. Like, it's because you're laughing about it. It's also kind of dramatic.
But
it's funny. She's still cringing.
But for me, it actually kind of, I haven't really done anal since.
Right.
Because I did have, so I wasn't lubed properly because he was one of those pour it over the ass, not on the ass. And so I did have a few micro tears, and I lost interest and I lost the fun part to it. And we never really did any training. In that relationship, I never really used plugs, things like that. And so it was so few and far between that it got harder and harder. Right. And so since then, I just haven't really done it. And I kind of lost my love that was growing for it, if that makes sense.
Your love interest.
Yeah. And so you guys are super into anal. I was I felt like I was going in that direction. And then I was
she's I feel like I can be on board with the anal enthusiast club.
Right, and so I did enjoy especially like you were saying, if you get the Hitachi going, and I'm just
sweet, yes.
It's the insta orgasm, and then just fuck the shit out of me. But
there it is.
But it's been a really long time, and so I'm interested in getting back into anal, but I know I'm going to have to basically start over with everything.
Yeah, but that's alright. That's part of the process. It'd be fun. Man, I'm trying to think what stories we could tell.
Oh, I have some.
Were you receiving or were you giving? I mean, both, I guess.
So, I told it during the strapping one, so I won't, about the bed.
Oh, right.
That was an anal play one. Mm-hmm. For receiving, I've definitely had legitimate accidental wrong hole moments.
Oopsies.
That's not where I planned that to go, but okay.
It's here now.
And most often they were really my fault, because I pulled off too far, and then the dick shifted, or the toy shifted, and then I
happened.
Blood flow makes it pulse a little bit, and just wrong angle.
Again, luckily I love lube, and I'm a very wet vagina, so it wasn't so bad. I have also punched a guy.
Punched him to get off of you, or punched his butthole?
I punched my ex-husband.
Oh no!
Because we were having sex and we were moving into anal sex, and that day just wasn't my butt was not having it.
It's like a cat being baptized, not happening.
We had anal sex regularly. It was totally normal for us. But that day my butt was nope, not
today,
coming in.
Not bitch.
And I was oh, and he kept going, and it hurt. And my knee-jerk reaction was to swing, and I was in doggy style, so it was literally my hand flying behind me.
Good thing you're hypermobile.
Catch these hands.
Yeah, and he was whoa, but we backed out.
Yeah, but keep your dick to yourself, baby.
Yeah, and he was are you here? I was no, that hurts so bad. We're done. Hold on.
He was I'm sure. Can I kiss you, make it better?
That's the thing though. When it hurts, it's I lost my breath.
It is a factory reset. I don't like anal when it's super painful. Uncomfortable is fine. If I'm receiving anal, I'm not a masochist, especially when someone else does it to me. That's a good way to get in a fight with me. So I don't like it when it's super painful, but total factory reset. If it hurts, I'm we're done. Get off away from me. Nope, we're done. Get out of my room.
For me, it either has to not be painful or be painful. I can't do that uncomfortable medium. It's just...
Then you should only do super painful, because it's going to be uncomfortable.
There is an appropriate amount of uncomfortable involved in anal.
Yeah.
But it's an enjoyable...
Well,
if I was going to ask me, what does anal feel like? Well, it feels like having a dick in your ass. I'm not really sure how to explain it to you, other than you feel full.
Yeah.
Apparently, the word anal set off my Google Assistant.
Did it?
It did. It was excited too.
Google's kinky.
Well, it's your Google Assistant.
Right.
It's probably oh girl, what are we looking at today?
True.
I'm trying to think. No, I as far as receiving anal for me, in my vanilla sex life, that's something I like. Almost like it more than vaginal sometimes, especially if my partner's not if I have a partner that isn't stellar in the vaginal operations, then I prefer anal, because then again I can drive my clitoris, and I can work the front, and they can work the back, and we're gonna just do this as a team. It's fantastic, that kind of thing. During masturbation, I'll often use a plug, things like that, or when I do self tie, I'll often do anal on myself. Sit on something when I'm tied up and stuff like that. And it's kind of ooh, look at me. I feel like a little garden statue. I want to peg in the garden or something like that. So that's kind of fun too. And then the giving, obviously, we did the pegging and strapping episode already, and that's kind of the extent of that because I don't have a biological cock, so we already covered all that in a prior episode. But
I will say, so I am a big fat anal whore. I
love that about you.
Both, whatever way you want to take that statement, it's probably accurate. Except for I'm short in stature. Not very big that direction.
Big enthusiasm.
Yes, very enthusiastic. I love butt stuff. However, in the last year, it's been really rough for me because of my disabilities. I'm having some issues with my GI tract, my intestines.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So,
right? It's such a sad face.
It is. It's so sad. I haven't been able to have a member, like a full member,
in the trunk
in over a year, which is incredibly
really
sad.
Yeah, that's
for
really
me,
long.
I'm like, oh,
yeah.
it's I am, depending on how I'm doing and how my symptoms are, I can masturbate with some of my smaller toys.
Right.
I generally choose the ones that are a little smoother in shape, so they're not as ribbed. For me, it sucks because I do enjoy it. And one of my big turn-ons for myself is I really like to feel full.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm on board with that.
3 holes, no waiting. Please stuff them all.
DP is a fantasy of mine.
Treepy is fantasy.
I
All
need to,
3 of them.
I need to work up to it.
Breathe through my nose very strongly.
I want to be made a tripod. Actually, I love being made a tripod.
Yeah.
And so it kind of sucks because I can't enjoy the types of sex I've liked in the past. I have to be careful about the size and the type of toy that I use now because of the issues. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to give up anal.
Right.
I have been able to find ways to, particularly in the last 2 months, find ways that I could still
Scratch that itch.
start to play with it more and feel comfortable and enjoy it instead of being
I panic about it.
panicky because of my disability. The way that I've done that is lube. Lube helps because if I get a toy in and it triggers a reaction of some sort, getting it out is important.
Yes.
And if it's not lubed well, it's not coming back out because my ass is a hungry little bitch.
Right. It's been lonely for almost a year now.
So lonely. It just wants more things up. I just want more anal, guys. But so I find toys that have a smoother body shape to them.
Okay.
So
I don't like ribbed toys.
Like non-textured toys.
Non-textured toys. I also have quite a few of. One of my favorites is a silicone plug that's got. It doesn't have a round base. It has a thinner, stretched out base.
Okay, I need one of those. Like a T-base.
Like a T-base. It's great because I got a big ol' ass that surrounds my big hungry anus.
And so you find
And so this it just sits perfectly between the butt cheeks as opposed to the round ones that like...
You want this for long wear.
It is perfect for long wear. But it is a smooth silicone. It's multiple, so it's like ball, stem, ball, stem, ball, stem. What I find is that depending on how I'm feeling, occasionally I can get to the 3rd ball. Okay. Because it's a bigger ball. I haven't been able to play with my butt for a year and a half.
So it must be
year
starting
and a half.
over.
So I'm anal whore who knows what I can take. I know what toys I can play with, and I have to go, nope, can't take that yet.
Not today.
We'll get there someday, maybe.
Not today.
Yes. So there are days where I only get to play with like the first ball or 2, or I have a glass one. Now, when you think of glass, you need to get high quality glass.
Yeah. Glass ones freak me out. Also, please never stick like a beer bottle or a champagne bottle up any orifice.
Those are not, no.
See our previous comment on body safe insertion.
Yes. So I have a well-made, well-crafted glass toy. There is a risk they can break.
If they get a crack in them, I just throw them out. I mean, or use them as decoration on your windowsill.
But they're great for like temperature play.
Oh yeah.
Same with like metal toys. Because like the silicone, even the smooth ones, still have a little grip to them.
Did you?
Which is great, unless I need something to have a little less friction.
Yeah.
And then I have my glass one is more of just like a very thin snowman.
Okay.
Like an incredibly thin snowman.
But like kind of 3-ribbed kind of?
It just goes bump, bump, bump. And it's not like the other one where there's a stem in between where my butt has to stretch.
Okay.
And then shrink and then stretch and then shrink.
It stays kind of.
It's just slowly expands itself. That is not one that I can wear like around the house or out like for work or whatever. That's strictly because you do not want it to break.
No, when you drop that, everyone's gonna hear it.
Oh yeah,
everyone's gonna hear it. Also,
it'll probably.
I have this thing like if I have it in while I'm driving and I get in a car accident and it shatters in my hand, it's like
take me to the hospital. You're not injured. Yes, I
am. So there's that. But I have to take it slow. Fingers. Luckily, I'm hypermobile, so getting back there isn't a problem for me.
Right.
But even with other partners, like you can play with a finger or a couple of fingers, but I might not necessarily, at this point, I am not healed enough to handle
be finger fucked.
Aggressively like take a dick.
Yeah.
Because I like, it's called Klingon sex. It is violent and dirty and aggressive.
Like what? Oh, I got you.
Like rage fucking, but without something to be mad about. Just because you can.
I do like that with butt stuff too. My butt's pretty sturdy. I like that.
But at this point, I can't do that with human flesh.
Right.
Or with a very large toy at the moment.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I can't get off and I can't get that full feeling that I really enjoy.
Honestly, that's what I'm after.
Yeah, it's that like I will tell you, best experience ever is being fisted in one hole and almost fisted in the other, and then I was just like a little engine that could. It was great.
Just imagine like your eyes rolling up and just drool like. Ugh.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm on board for that. I'm here for that. Did you have a snoot, Kaitlyn?
I did, but I think it might actually be more 201 instead of 101.
Some don'ts. Some hardcore don'ts.
Oh, some don'ts.
There are some people out there that will love this stuff. But from my butthole perspective...
And this is our personal perspective.
Yeah, personal perspective. And suggestion to people who are new to butt stuff.
Yes, very new to butt stuff.
Please, dear God, don't use warming lube. Don't use a warming lube.
No desensitizing lube.
Don't use it. So warming lube for me just makes it feel like my asshole is on fire.
Think of icy
and
hot.
not in
a good way. I'm like, excuse
not
me,
in a
I gotta
pleasant way.
take care of this.
No, and it's probably because
it's like diaper rash cream is what it feels like. No, I don't like it.
Oh, it's horrible. And it's because of all those micro tears, and then you're shoving basically hot. Don't put hot sauce in your butt either.
Yeah.
No.
That's not healthy for you.
No.
And then the desensitizing creams.
You can't feel when something goes wrong or if it is hurting you.
Yeah. You need to have that awareness. Like, it sounds great in theory to do, like, anal ease or any of those, like, numbing agents. Don't do it. Your butthole will thank you in the morning.
Yeah.
Now, if your kink happens to be putting strange objects into your orifices,
it is.
It is for me. Take precautions.
Yes, please.
Tie something. Put it in a condom
or something. Yeah.
Well, if you want to play with something that's not necessarily meant for an orifice, use an internal condom.
Yep, catch that.
Okay, your person doesn't want to put a condom on their dick. Then use an internal condom.
Be the condom.
You wear the condom, and then you can go in and out and toys and whatever.
Exactly.
And there's not. If you want to do vaginal to anal penetration,
those internal condoms are
great for that. If you aren't, because you can jump from one hoop to the other. Now with that, the member doing the penetrating doesn't wear a condom as well. You don't want to tear it.
Right.
Don't double up. It's not safer, I promise.
The saber can be naked in this case because the sheath is covered.
Yeah, you put it in your butt, very similar to the way that you would put it into a vaginal hole, and it works wonderful. And if you're doing ass to vagina, and you are fluid bonded with your partner, you can go back and forth all you want if you're using an internal condom without a problem. If you are wearing a male condom or an on condom, one that slides over the member, do not go between and ask. You can go vagina to anal, but do not go anal to vagina or anal to mouth.
It is not a round trip ticket.
Change the condom.
Yeah.
Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Change the condom.
Yep. That's really important because the risk of infection is so high.
Yeah. I would say my don't list is don't let anybody bully you into trying something you're not ready for.
Yes.
If you're not ready to try any of this, fucking don't.
And if you're not interested, not even ready, but like
just because aemok and I are anal enthusiasts doesn't mean everybody has to be. It doesn't mean everybody should be. Like we mentioned before, there's even gay men out there that are not into it. You know, and they're stereotyped into, oh, they love butt stuff. Well, some of them fucking don't. So don't let anybody bully you. It is your body at the end of the day. So you get to decide what does and does not get stuck up inside of it.
And as with anything else, you can stop it at any time.
Consent can be withdrawn at any time.
You can start off, be super excited. They start to actually put their member in. And you're like, nope, actually don't want this. You can say that, and they need to stop.
And your level of enjoyment could range from absolutely none at all to stuff me full of multiple things.
Right.
It's also totally okay to be, I really love toys like butt plugs or butt vibrators, but I don't want a dick.
I don't want to be fucked.
Or I don't want to be fucked.
Yeah.
Right.
That's completely acceptable.
Or you may only like to do it when you do it to yourself.
Yep.
This is something I do, maybe if you do for masturbation, but you don't want someone else doing it for whatever reason. I've got a friend who's like that. That individual likes putting things up their own butt, but doesn't like when a partner does it. And it's not even from like a traumatic experience with a partner.
It's also just a control thing.
It's a control thing, and it's just a preference. You know, it's their body, and they feel that's something that they like to do. And there's
you can keep stuff for yourself.
Wrong with that. You can have just things you do with yourself. So don't be bullied. Don't let people pressure you. You can say no at any point, and all is well in the world.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on booties?
Booty is awesome.
That being said, try it out. I mean, that being said, if you're feeling frisky, I recommend trying it out. But take it slow, lube it up, have fun, and don't take yourself too seriously. Like, farts happen, especially if you're using penetration, because you're pushing air up in there, just like a queef, just like a pussy fart.
Yeah.
You've pushed air in there, it's gonna talk back.
Also, when choosing a butt plug, if you get one of the ones that leaves it open and has a hole through the center, you will whistle out of your asshole.
That's hilarious.
It's just going to happen.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I need to like find a harmonica one. I want someone to play me a tune.
Yes. I'm sure if you hold a harmonica over it.
Like slide it. Like pumping full of air, and then I'll sit on his tummy, and then I'll...
Oh my god, please do it.
So Saturday.
We love you!
He's like, oh my god, and he's probably like, not listening, la la la. But yeah, so that's all I've got, and then that's good. Get out there.
Have fun with it. Don't
be
be scared. Like, if you want to try it, try it. If you don't.
I'm a big fan of try it twice.
Try it twice, yeah. The first time, because like food, I don't know. Well, maybe one more bite.
Yep. You might have a bad experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll hate it forever, or that your partner or your toy or your shape might just not be your butt's thing.
Yeah. Okay. Have fun, fuck it up, and remember,
trouble comes in 3.
And get fucked. Up the butt.
I think we're a boot done.